welcome to the podcast here on Flute Your Soul. We're here with Chris Anthem. Thank you, man, for coming on the show, man. I really appreciate it. Tell the audience about yourself. What would you describe yourself as? You're a spoken word artist, community event planner. Like, what shenanigans do you get into, my friend?
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, it's your boy Anthem here, and a lot of the things that I work on in the community as Anthem is I do event planning, right? I work with different organizations for different events. I've started out working on open mics way back in like 2018 or 2017, actually. So for about almost 6 years, I believe. Yeah, 6 years. Just working with different artists, organizations in Wilmington, such as like the Grand Opera House, Wilmington Alliance, just to name a few. And just putting on a platform for the community. You know, that at its heart, that's what it's all about. For me, is just giving people who don't necessarily have a platform to share their truth, share their ideals, share who they are, and be truthful in that regard, like as artistically as possible. Whether you sing, rap, do spoken word, or juggle, even
Yeah.
I've really been trying to get that out there. Yeah, I really want to showcase that to people everywhere in Wilmington and show that there is a need for it here, that that we have a voice, like other cities and other places around surrounding the state. So we definitely want to bolster that. That's where my the forefront of that is. But also just to have fun, have fun with it and have people of all backgrounds, skill levels, just again share their truth and their talent. But that's what I do as an artist, partly as an artist, is give back as much as I can. So yeah.
Art is art. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
No, like honestly, like it's an important thing, like for like at a young age, or just like not even at a young age, but like just to keep creating and stuff, and the fact that you're encouraging that, like in the community in Wilmington, is great because we do have a lot of like artistic people. It's just like a matter of like where to go to do that. You know what I mean? That's hard to do. And now you're and many others are making that possible. When did you find out that that is important to you? Community and
Um,
creation.
for me, I found the importance of it when I first came into Wilmington or just Delaware as a whole, right? So I'm not from Delaware. I'm not from Wilmington. I was raised in Maryland, Prince George's County area. Um, and lived there for years up until I moved up here around 2015. After I graduated high school, 2016, around that time, in that summer, I came out to the city just to see, like what was happening, what was the underground or just main town vibes, where were the scenes at, what was the music looking like, the different artists, so just people I could collaborate with, and it I found a sort of a second home in that as time kind of just built up and built along over the years, meeting a lot of different and dope artists, different sounds, different genres, different artistic abilities. But yeah, I just coming here was back in that time was like the start of it all, and that's when I kind of you know started to see that there was a need for this, and my first ever event that I did in 2017 was at an old job that I had. It was a University of Delaware job that I had when U Dairy Creamery Market was in town, and we did a and we what did we do? We did our first open mic in October of 2017 of that year, and ever since then, like me putting on a scene has attracted more and more and more artists, more people in and out of different Wilmington spaces, and from there, again just seeing that need and seeing a want, a drive for that, really, to just continue the scene going forward. And even after they shut down, I was like, I want to keep going. I want to keep doing it and partnering with more organizations. And the need for it just kept evolving to what it is now. So yeah, I have to say that's when it pretty much started, and then where it's continued to go on from there.
Who's been a help for you like in this creative journey?
Um, who's been a very big help? I would say, um, well, shout out to the day ones. Shout out to all the day ones, all the people, all the I guess support that I've had over the past few years. Um, I found I would say residents in support from not just the artists and my day ones, but from organizations in Wilmington. To name a few, I would say definitely University of Delaware. They were the ones who, especially people within that community out here in Wilmington on the Wilmington campus, more and more specifically, they were the ones who helped me to continue with creating the open mic scene and creating more of the platform for it. Wilmington Alliance, I gotta shout them out as well. Before they were that, they were Wilmington Renaissance, and um, I've been working with them for about I want to say 5 years now, and we put on a platform out in Wilmington at a specific outdoor location that we've been doing like every summer since then, and they have been very, very very supportive of me, very nonstop, just very, very much there in every regard. The Grand Opera House, definitely sort of new player in the game, but they have definitely ever since we worked together in 2020, and though 2020 was 2020, we've continued that partnership, which has been very, very great. Wilmington Library, definitely. They have also been supportive over the years with things even outside of the open mic opportunities and spaces that I've created there. Um, there's a couple other things, I guess, Teen Warehouse, Network Connect, uh, CCAC, Christina Cultural Arts Center. Um, yeah, just in all any of the nonprofit or other for-profit business that I probably have forgotten. I just want to say they have definitely been helpful and just being a team player and helping me to support the dreams that I have for the vision that we have in this, in this town. So yeah, definitely.
A lot of key players in your journey, man. But I want to ask though, like when you got started making songs or poetry and stuff like that, like how did that start? What was like some of the first songs that you ever worked on, and like talk about how you first got into like making like music and poetry.
An incredible journey that is, an incredible journey it still is, honestly. I started making music, I would say seriously, started making music back in around 2012. And that was around like 2012 of that summer. I was in eighth grade. I am now like postgraduate. So that was like a long, long time ago. Like 2012, around that time, I remember I had it was like May of that year. I had an assignment from my social studies teachers, excuse me. And basically the assignment it was like a history course lesson or whatever, turn it into a song, rap, project, whatever you wanted it to be, right? So we did. I had my friend and the group of people that I had with me during the presentation like use the table as like a beatbox desk. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna start rapping. So I started creating lyrics for it. And it was crazy. It was the craziest thing ever. And I remember parts of the song. It was like it was about James Pope. We learned about manifest destiny for whatever reason. And it was like my man's Jane Paul making history. He's got a dream called Manifest Destiny. But to do it,
Hmm.
he's gonna need a master plan. We're gonna be friends with the Mexican. And it was crazy. It was probably the most propaganda-ish thing I've ever created.
Yeah,
But
like
then
if
after
you
that,
look
I was
back into like what like yes, it was cool. Like people moved to the west, cool, but like the carnage, like every inch someone moved,
yeah. I was like to say that he's being friends with the Mexicans is putting a bow on it. It's kind of making it look pretty. That was not actually the case. But regardless of that, I took that and said, "Wow, I can actually do that. I can really rap." So that summer, I like started like after we graduated from the eighth grade, I started practicing throughout the entire summer. I
Yeah.
just found beats that any beats that I could find, anything that I could think of, and I just started writing on paper. I started typing on my laptop that I had at the time. I was working hard on things, and sadly, I don't have all of that stuff salvaged or saved anywhere. But it was the stepping stones to honing in more of my talent and what was soon to be like my passion essentially. I started doing more school projects around rap. So like when I got into high school, I was rapping about various things. I started rapping about video games and things that I was just kind of just on the surface level interested in that I thought was cool. Because that was how I got my start. I had to start somewhere. And then after as time went forward, I started to rap more about my own personal experience, the things that I faced, like at home, things people didn't see, things that I was feeling on the inside. And I started using rap as a tool for communicating my feelings and my thoughts, and just as a tool for communication, essentially. Outside of just the school projects and everything, I had a friend of mine um, who around 10th grade, so about like 2 years later, I had a friend of mine who her mom was facing a tough battle with cancer. And I saw this and I was like, let me write something for this person and, like try to cheer them up. And I did. They saw the video, they saw everything and gave me a hug. And then they just left. Right. I did this like in the school library, like in the beginning of the morning, and nobody was really there. So it was just us. And when they saw that, they left and they felt better at the end of the day. And from that, I got like this weird feeling, like this very like fuzzy feeling inside. I was just like, this is what I should be doing with my music. I should be using it to better other people and in turn better myself internally. And that's how I'll become a better artist. And that's exactly what I did. So I started writing more about my own personal experiences, things that people could relate to, things that people could look at as inspiration, and not necessarily, the video gamey kind of like uh I don't know, like jokey kind of rap, but like have that evolve into something better and something bigger, something that was, more it was just bigger than myself, honestly. So that's where I started to just practice in on that and just start writing about various things about how I felt about things that I was dealing with from day to day. Just to name a few things, like I was facing a lot of dysfunction at home with my family, more specifically my father at the time. I was facing a lot of sort of like mental and physical abuse. I was facing a lot of just like a lot of a lot of feelings around being resented and rejected from a parental standpoint, and then from like school and from other things that I was facing. And I was like, I want to write about these things. I want to be able to express this in a way that is genuine. And that eventually led to my first mixtape, which I released in my college, I think my junior year of college in 2018. And I was writing that like in high school, like senior year of high school. And once I got to a place where I felt like I was complete in the writing portion of it, I said, definitely I want to get this out somehow. And I dedicated some time to trying to work on the project on my own. Like it was a self-made project. I didn't have any producers, I didn't have anybody, I didn't have like a fancy studio. I used the studio that the university had to record and to make the music off of. I did it in GarageBand. It was a very like um it wasn't impromptu, but it wasn't as professional as I would have liked it to be. But it was still a project that was made out of love and out of heart. And that's where that project led to. It's called Waiting on My Forever, and it has a bunch of themes of sadness, pain, and somewhat depression, but also reflections of hope and prosperity and making a change, making a difference within yourself. So there's a lot of personal things within that 12 song mixtape that I definitely look back to, I reflect, and I use that as a way to remind myself of how far it came and where it went. It went from basically being like rap went for me was at one point nothing more than a gimmick. And now it is sort of the life and blood and soul of my makeup, essentially, of who I am. And without it, I don't know where I'd be today, to be honest. So, but that's sort of where it all, culminated to.
It all kind of just starts like not like starts like with gibberish, like you kind of like where you're just kind of saying like nothing, and then eventually like it kind of like the more you do it, it becomes like real stories and like music and like real, poetry. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of
Mhm.
how it has to go, but it's hard to figure that out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah.
It is hard, yeah. So, but it gets clearer as time goes on. Like when you look back at things, I definitely tend to reflect a lot, and I look back at things, and in the moment of things, I'm like, I don't understand why I'm doing this or what's happening or what's going on, because a lot of times you don't always have that clarity. But then when you look back and you're like, oh, no, yeah, I was going through this for a reason. Like I was doing this for, it didn't make sense then, but it makes sense now as to why I went through the things that I went through. And it was to lead up to this. And those are sometimes things we can't see, but it's, through faith and through a lot of reassuring yourself, it gets better with time. Yeah.
Definitely. Like personal experiences or uh like struggles like definitely kind of like make you who you are. Not they don't make you who you are, but they like how you deal with them makes you who you are because you could deal with them in a bad way, you could deal
Right.
with them in a positive way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And honestly, like I'd look at myself I'm more proud of the person that I am now than the person that I could have probably been had I let those things that happen to me in a way that was um life changing and a more devastating impact. So like if I had let that control or rule over me and not let music, take effect into the sort of healing process of it all, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know where I'd be. I don't know what I'd do. Rap literally saved my life. um And I know it's very cliche to say, but it did. Like it really did. Because again, I don't know, like if yeah, if I didn't let those challenges challenge me in a way that it did, and if I didn't respond to it the way that I did, I don't think Anthem would be here today. I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah. Would you say that like that's like that mixtape has your favorite songs on it, or is there a different like song that you made later down the line that has a lot of meaning to you?
I would say those songs are I still hold those songs in regard. Those are definitely like how do I put it? Those are it's an extension of myself, right? And I worked on those songs for a very, very long time. And they just hold a lot of memories and resonance for me. Um I remember when I moved to my mother's, when I moved up to Delaware and I was still working on the lyrics for these songs, I had what was it? I remember like spending like nights at like 3 in the morning, just like practicing, honing it in, revising and rewriting and going back and, doing whatever I could to improve the songs at the time. And just spending like multiple nights waking up and just writing. I believe like 3 a.m. for me, like 3 a.m. bars are like probably like one of my best bars ever. Like just when I stay up and I work on something and it's like late at night, that's my best pieces of work, honestly. And some of those songs in there are definitely like 3 a.m. songs where I'm
Mm.
just up late at night and I'm just practicing and I'm just like honing it in. Everybody's like upstairs, basically, like on the second floor. I go down to the basement and like everybody's asleep, nobody can hear me practicing, and I'm just pouring my heart out. So those songs definitely have a lot of like they very much hold a huge candle in my light within my heart. You know, like it just burns a lot of 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 positivity within me. And even not even just that, but it just holds a special place, essentially, you know. So yeah, I would say out of the 12, I would say like Come Up is one of my favorite. For You is my favorite. Believe, like that one was just a bonus song that I did, but I love that one definitely. Open Your Eyes is very, very, it has a special like thing in my heart as well. Um, I'll even go for like Dad Died. Dad Died. That one has like a metaphorical and symbolic kind of uh resonance with me as well. It's like that song, it's not like a literal like he didn't really, he's still alive actually. He's not dead. But the message is that like at some point, like symbolically, like he was gone and I didn't know who else to really turn to. And I really wanted to talk, like that was a heavy song for me to write, and I really wanted to talk about it. And being able to write that from start to finish was an emotional journey for me. But I look back at that and I'm like, I'm very glad that I did write it, because had I not, I don't know where those feelings would have went.
Thank you for sharing that, man. That was very, that mixtape seems like a lot of like emotions went into it. Will you plan on doing another mixtape anytime soon? Or are you just rocking out with the singles?
Right now I'm rocking out with the singles. I definitely have some new things in mind. I can't say what it is now. Because I can't, if I promise something and it doesn't come out, which I've done before, I don't want people to be mad. So
Yeah, it's okay. I hate
um
when that happens. You're like, yo, I'm gonna be doing this, that, and then nothing happens. Yeah.
yeah, that literally happened, and I was at one point I was definitely like in a funk, and I was like, I gotta get back in the game. But um no, I do have things in the work though. I do have things that I am currently wrapping up either productions on, or wrapping up like the writing production portion of it. Excuse me. But yeah, no, things are gonna come out. Expect at least one thing to come out. I can't say what it is. I can't say um the state of what it will be, but expect one, at least one new thing, or one thing to come out by the end of the year. And yeah, expect that. It'll be probably around maybe November, maybe December. Definitely something that I am cooking up right now.
Well, I mean, you have a lot of other things you're busy with, you know what I mean? But and also, like, do you find like, because you're, obviously you're doing a lot of like, open mics and stuff like that. Do you ever like test a song out before you record it, like live? Like when you do spoken word, you know what I mean? Like how you do, because you do spoken word too. Like, do you ever just do a song in the spoken word before you record it, or something like that?
Um, yeah, sometimes I'll practice it or record it and see how it sounds. So if it's like a spoken word piece, I'll and if I like the way that it looks, some as I type it or as I write it, I'm sort of reciting it in my head the way that I want it to flow, the way that I want it to, like the beats and the stops, and then the continuations, the pauses, all of that. If there's a certain way that I want to present it, I'll do it in my mind. And sometimes I'll read it out loud as I'm going through it and saying, okay, that doesn't sound good, or that sounds fine. I'll rewrite it this way, or I'll keep it that way, depending on what it is. Same thing with my raps. I typically what I'll typically do is I'll write like a bar or two, like I'll write like a line, 2 lines, however many lines, and if I have an idea in my mind, I'm like, "Okay, let's just keep writing," and then, like, I'll see how it sounds, and if it sounds good or if it doesn't sound good, I'll go back and then I'll revise it again until I get it done. But I typically go through writing, reciting it out loud, possible revision, and then I'll just keep that going. So I'll write, practice, rewrite if necessary, then keep writing, practice that, and just have it flow through instead of doing it all at once and then saying it out loud and then not liking it. I want to make sure that I like it throughout the entire thing. So I'll probably spend some time on a verse before I get to the next verse, and then so on and so forth. That's kind of like the writing style that I have. And then when it comes to practicing in front of a live, like in front of people before I do a show. I have had instances where I'll talk about it, or I'll invite some people over and I'll say, hey, uh, I have this new thing that I'm working on. I want you guys to hear it first. I'll test it out on them. Typically, it'll be like my friends, girlfriend, or whoever, right? Anybody, family members, and I will have them listen, and we'll look at it together, see what works, see what doesn't work, and then just kind of go from there. And that feedback allows me to know what it is I need to do going forward. But I've definitely done that a couple times, especially as of recent. So yeah.
Sounds like you got a lot of like processes of how you do stuff, man. Like, and that's probably because like you've been doing it for a while, and like I can't wait to listen to some more music by you and stuff like that. Is there anybody like that locally you've interacted with that you like to work on music with, like locally?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I've worked with Young Seta before. Shout out to him. He's dope. Amazing artist. His journey is incredible. He had like an album release party earlier this year in the summer. He's been performing at a lot of major things around town as well. Um, I know his manager's definitely getting him some time out there on stages and just performing. But yeah, he's dope. Young Seta, D Turtle, who I'll probably talk about in a bit for a show that I'm hosting soon. I've definitely talked to him about doing collab, and I think that's something we're definitely gonna have to do in the future. And let me think. If I had to think about somebody outside of the Wilmington, like the Wilmington, like city limits, that I definitely think is dope, that I have been wanting to work with for a while. Matt Vanzetti, shout out to him. He's dope. He's like out in Dover. I think he's still probably out in Dover. And he worked on another mixtape slash album that he made and produced himself. I think it came out in 2019. But he's been doing a lot. He's been doing a whole lot too. He makes beats himself as well. Like, he's on a roll. Um, and then one other person I gotta definitely shout out is Ezekiel. I recently found out about him earlier this year. This man is a family man in his 30s, but he rocks the mic like nobody I've ever seen before.
Mm.
A huge Wu-Tang fan. um,
Mm.
yeah, yeah. So he's incredible. Just simply unadulterated, just levels of skill. But I definitely want to reach out to him and like one day, like if I can work with him, definitely. So yeah.
Yeah. What events do you have coming up that you can speak on?
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, D Turtle, he's gonna be a feature artist at the Grand Opera House on October the 11th. That's a Wednesday. That show starts at 6 o'clock. Well, doors open at 6. Show will probably start around 6:30. It's free. There's no fee, there's no price admission or anything. Just come as you are. And you can sign up to be on the list for the open mic at my link in my Instagram bio, which is, or you can go to my link tree, which is just basically Linktree/Chris_Anthem777, which is also the same as my at handle on Instagram. So definitely, check that out there. And then Chelsea's Tavern is another event that I'm hosting on October 14th that same week. So that's Saturday at Chelsea's Tavern, doing an open mic night there. You can also find the link to that, the same link on my Instagram, to sign up for that. But we're gonna have the band Forever Fresh, or the group Forever Fresh, come out and perform there. They're gonna be there live. That's gonna be from 7 to 10. So definitely, if you guys want to check that out, it'll be two different vibes. The second event though is a ticketed event, so make sure you guys get the tickets there. You can pay at the door. You can pay online.
All right, man. I'm gonna be popping out to every event, so anybody watching wants to go, I'll be there too, watching and performing. Man, thank you. You're doing some great stuff for the community, and links in the description. Check out your stuff. I'm gonna put your link to in the description so the audience can check you out. And thank you for coming on the show, man.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate everything, man. Take care.
You too. Peace out.